So, Lil Bird told me that you have a rock collection.
Rock?
Yes. Do you have a rock collection?
No.
What do you have a collection of? I thought it was a rock collection. What is your collection? Do you have a collection of something?
That's great. I have a bug collection.
A bug collection. All right, there we go. Welcome everyone to Real Talk with my homies. I'm your host, Jake Wardrop, licensed real estate agent with Homepage Realty in Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm joined by Ashley Spillman, realtor at Homepage with me. Ashley is new to Homepage though. She came to us about a year ago, I think. Did I see that correct?
Yep.
Since then, she has taken off like a rocket ship in production and service. Can't forget the service aspect too. Always important. In 2024, this year, Ashley, according to the MLS, you have 25 properties that are closed and pending. Hopefully those pendings will close out by the end of the year for a grand total of just south of $9 million. So I'm excited to have you on. Wanted to have you on for a while, so let's just dive right in. And how are we today?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing well. It is cold.
It is, but it's Friday.
It is. As every episode is recorded on a Friday, so that's good. So how do you feel like your business went this year? I mean, the numbers say one story, but what's Ashley's story? How do you feel?
Yeah. I feel like this is the year. So I guess I've been licensed now like around 3 years, I believe.
Okay.
So it's not, even though I'm newer to Homepage, I'm not new to real estate.
Yes.
Really. I mean, in some regard, yes, I am. But I mean, this year was amazing. This year was way more. I've been saying to everybody, this is the year, like, I feel like it clicked for me where I was like, oh, okay. I can do this. Like, all right.
Yeah.
Because my goal was to do 4 million. And then obviously I
ran right past that.
I did that
about 4 or 5 months ago. Yeah. About 6 months ago, you sprinted right past 4 million.
Right.
What did you do? I didn't look this up just because I didn't have time to. What did you do last year as far as volume, numbers, all that stuff? Do you remember?
I think it was north of 4 million. I think I did somewhere around like 4 or 5.
Okay, so you essentially doubled at least your production.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you attribute that to?
That's a great question.
Thanks.
I mean, I think it's a lot of things. I think, when anything that you do continue to do, it's going to continue to snowball and build. So like if you stay committed to something, I think some of it's that is just staying committed to it, continuing to do it, continuing to put myself out there and just let opportunity come. Obviously social media, that's huge for me. And then I think here, like this year, being in the right place, obviously I've got all the marketing here, but then also the help I have here, the guidance that I've never had, that has really helped me because I've had obviously a lot of challenges this year. Learning to scale is a huge feat, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we all have the same amount of hours in the day.
Yes.
I mean, I know it's an old cliche, but it's true.
Yeah.
Do you automate anything? Or are you still just me, myself, and I?
Well, I've got a transaction coordinator now.
Okay.
So we'll call that automated.
Yep, I would.
But no, not most things are pretty hands-on for me. I plan to implement more next year.
Okay. So Lil Bird told me that you have a rock collection.
Rock?
Yes. Do you have a rock collection?
No.
What do you have a collection of? I thought it was a rock collection. What is your collection? Do you have a collection of something?
That's great. I have a bug collection.
A bug collection. All right, there we go. That actually makes it even better.
I looked up the rock and I take the bug.
That's fair. All right, you have a bug collection. All right, sorry about that. Tell me about the bug collection.
Well, I've been doing it since I was a kid.
I assumed you didn't pick that up in your 20s. Sorry.
You never know.
That's fair.
I picked up crochet in my 20s, so.
Yeah, that's not something you pick up when you're 6 either. It's an older hobby. All right, tell me about the bug collection.
Well, I love bugs. I took entomology in college, so that's what really restarted it for me in my 20s. But I had a childhood collection, and I had some crazy stuff. I don't think I knew at the time what I was doing. My dad is
Most children don't.
Right. My dad was the one that really encouraged me and also kind of gave me that curiosity for bugs. He used to do landscaping, and I grew up every weekend. My parents would work on the yard and whatnot, and we were their free labor, of course.
Of course.
And that's still what I do as a hobby. But that's where it really started with bugs. My dad would dig out grubs and worms and stuff, and I loved it, or bugs.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm a science girl. Like I said, I have a biology degree and
Where'd you go to college?
U of L.
U of L. Okay.
Uh-huh.
What was the? We'll get into that later. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't want to get too ahead of myself.
But yeah, I love bugs. I've always been fascinated by them. Even like taking entomology, I'm even more fascinated with them. So it's also one of those things. There's like a little bit of fear, and there's a little bit of fear, a lot of intrigue. So when you mix that, you're like obsessed.
So dumb question then: do we keep them alive? Because like I did the bug project or whatever in grade school, like every kid probably did. But they didn't want them alive. You had to like essentially unalive them.
Yep.
So you terminate their existence and then you just
Yes.
keep them.
Yes. So I do kill them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unalive them.
Maybe euthanize.
Yeah. And usually people always ask me, they're like, how do you kill them? Which sometimes I find them dead because people are always like, I'll take a picture or video and they're like, why is it not moving? I'm like, because it's dead.
Yeah. It's unfortunately, yes.
But usually
It's time
acetone.
fast.
Yeah. Usually acetone or a freezer. So
Gosh.
if you open up, I've got like the obligatory basement fridge at my house. If you open that up, I have a shoebox in there full to the brim of bugs right now.
So how do you? All right. So what's the coolest one you have?
Oh, people ask me that all the time.
I'm gonna ask it again.
I've got some awesome butterflies. Honestly, though, one of my favorite bugs, I would probably say I love velvet ants, if you know what that is. It's like a really large, they're called cow killers because they have a really painful bite, but they're like a large ant and they have bright red hairs on their back. And I mean, they're huge.
Yeah.
They're hard to catch. I also have like really neat dragonflies that I chased for, I don't want to say how long.
That's all right. Where's the coolest place that you've gotten one?
Oh,
Have you done it on a showing
yes.
in the backyard?
Yes. Yeah. Well, and a lot of my clients know that I collect bugs, but yes, I've gotten one on a showing. I got one a couple months ago when it was still warm out. I was showing a house and I saw one on this plant outside and I was like, oh, it was a huge beetle, humongous. And so I'm like, I'd take him through the house, like, and then I'm like, okay, well, bye. Well, I went back in. I was like, crap, I don't have anything. And I always have my fanny pack, my homepage fanny pack I'm always got on. I literally took that, unzipped it, like, and shoved the thing in there and, like, zipped it shut and took it out.
Got the job done.
That's right.
You got the job done.
And then I had to stick it in my freezer.
Move.
I should have brought that one in.
Yeah, thanks. That
We'll send you a picture later.
would have been great.
You can make that like the photo of the clip.
Yeah, we'll make that. We'll make your bug collection the clip.
Right.
All right. So got to pay some bills. So moving companies. All right. At Cardinal Moving, who if you don't use, you should. Cardinal Moving, a local moving company since 2014 with over 3,000 Google reviews. They specialize in making your move as smooth and stress-free as possible. Their team of clean-cut and professional movers is dedicated to handling your belongings with the utmost care and efficiency. Visit their website at cardinalmoving.com or give them a call direct at 502-599-2661 to get a free quote and tell them I sent you. All right, let's have some fun.
Okay.
The last couple episodes have been
Boring.
they've not been boring. They have been very real estate specific. So let's try to have a little bit of fun today.
Okay.
Would you rather have everything in your life hot or cold? That means weather, showers, your food, your drinks, hot or cold, everything.
Hot all day.
Hot?
Every day. That's it.
No, you don't do cold coffee?
Nope.
Really? Even if you had the choice, would you do cold coffee?
No.
See, my wife's on a huge cold coffee kick, and I really just don't like it.
Now? This is a bad time of year to be on a cold coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll make a pot on Mondays, shove it in the fridge, and then drink iced coffee all week.
Whew, no.
I mean, if you put hot coffee in front of her, she's gonna drink it.
Mhm.
It's not. She's not anti-hot. She's just on a cold coffee kick, and I don't like it cold. So
Yes.
I have to resort to energy drinks, and because I don't want to make my own pot of coffee, so I just rely on the old White Monster. Or today, compliments, free ads, 7 Brew. Thank you.
Love it. That looks like Mountain Dew or something.
It's Ocean Breeze.
Oh, nice.
It was the very first drink I ever got from there, and it was amazing. I really haven't deviated from it.
It reminds me of like Sonic. You know how Sonic has like whatever that is?
Except this has a lot of caffeine. I don't think Sonic has much caffeine in it.
Probably not. It's like the Panera drinks that you can't drink anymore. They don't sell.
What was it? The
Right.
killer lemonade or something? Wasn't it a lemonade? Well, I think one of them was like a lemonade.
I think the charged lemonade.
Yeah, it was like too much caffeine or something.
Yes, I would.
And
Or
sugar.
yuzu citrus. Yeah, that had like an ungodly amount of sugar, but I loved it.
Side note, they have a unlimited plan at Panera.
Yes, yes.
It's like what, like $5.99 or something crazy, and you get like a free drink every day.
Yep.
There's a Panera by my house. I really should do it.
Yes. I've only done it, paid for it, forgot I paid for it for multiple months, and not gotten a drink. So
That was really expensive. One drink you probably got when you signed up for it.
Right. That's why they don't have to raise the prices. People like me.
Well, and in theory, also like it's what's called in the industry like a loss leader. It's going to get you in the door.
Yep.
So that you buy something else. Like the odds of you going through the drive-thru only to get a free drink, somebody way smarter than me has done the numbers, and it's insignificant.
Yep.
You're going to buy something else.
Yep.
You're going to get a bagel. You're going to get a sandwich. You're going to get something, even a freaking croissant. You're going to get something that's going to force you to buy something. So they're getting their money. Probably, the numbers say probably only like 10%, 20% of people actually just get the free drink and they're out. They normally, if you come during lunch to get your free drink, well, now you're going to get a full-blown meal.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Well, if you sit there and work, then you're like, oh, well, now I'm hungry. So.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. If you could be the best in the world at something, what would it be?
Wish I could sing. I want to be the best singer plus an instrument, if that counts. I would love to perform. I love live music, and so I'm like, I want to be that. I want to be that.
Yeah. I would have said in the past, for me to be the best quarterback in the world because you make a boatload of money, 50, 60 million a year.
True.
Now, however, I would resort back to my roots, which is baseball, and I would be the best baseball player in the world because we just saw Juan Soto make close to $700 million on his most recent contract.
Jeez.
And he gets to live in New York now.
Yeah.
So I used to think the quarterbacks got paid the most. Now I think it's gone back to we're going to see a shift where baseball players get paid the most. So I'm going to say baseball player.
Yeah.
This is 100% money driven to be the best at something.
Meanwhile, we have to be sorry realtors.
Correct. So the best in the world at something that's a little more practical for me would be time management.
That's a good one.
Just because I feel like I could be a lot more successful and a lot better at other things if I was just better at time management.
Yes, or focus. You know how they say we're like in a focus economy now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's something I could use.
Literally, we were just talking about it before we went live. I put my phone on sleep mode because there's so many distractions that pop up.
Yes.
All right, cats or dogs?
That's a tough one, but
one or the other. Gotta pick.
Love them both, but I'm gone a lot. Cats.
See, I don't like cats.
Well,
I will put that out there. I don't like cats. I don't like them at all.
I like the cats that act like a dog.
There's nothing a cat can do that's gonna change my mind. I went to a listing not too long ago and I had a cat and I was petting it just to be nice. Like, I don't mind petting cats. I don't hate cats. I just don't like them.
Yes.
But I was like petting it or whatever, and I stopped and he like freaking nipped at me. I'm like, what? Come on, dude. Like, he nipped at me because I stopped running. I was running off for like 5 minutes, and then I was like, my hands get tired. I'm going to stop, and then he nips at me. So just reinforced the fact I don't like cats.
That's great.
All right. What is your Starbucks order?
Matcha latte or chai tea latte.
What is that? What's in that?
Matcha or chai?
Matcha.
It's like a matcha powder. It's like a green tea kind of thing. I don't really know. Yeah, it's like a powder. They like whisk it. Well, if you get it somewhere like nice, they whisk it there. I'm sure it's like pre-made, but it's still a powder, and then they, froth like milk. Oh, cool. There
we go.
Well, let's not do that. Yeah, not this.
Yeah,
I'm giving away the fact that this is water.
Spoiler alert: the guest drinks water.
Right. But they froth like milk and pour it in there, and so it kind of has like an earthy taste. I don't like overly sweet things.
Yeah.
So and then like chai, I love chai because it's got like it has like a warm. And both are hot.
Yes.
Like my other question.
Yep.
Hot, of course.
Good callback.
That's right. But it's got like a warm, not earthy, but like, I don't even know how to describe that. Like, it's good. Just, if you haven't had it, you got to try it.
I will give you mine. Mine is a shout out to my wife because she's the only reason I even tried this. And now it's the only drink I ever get is, as you can tell, I get this every time from 7 Brew. I get the same coffee from Starbucks every time, which is, I had to go into my message because anytime I want it, I just go to I text it or I search my text and she's texted it to me probably 500 times. But I get it every time. I really shouldn't have to do it anymore. It is a venti white chocolate mocha hot.
Okay, yeah,
It is amazing.
yeah. That is good.
I got it just one day on a whim because I got it for her, and I was like, "Oh, whatever, I'll try it myself." And I got it. I was like, "Dang, this is pretty good, actually." So drank the whole thing, and the rest is history. I think I drink it more frequently now than she does.
You're like, honey, what's your order? I mean,
Yeah.
my order?
Yeah, what's my order again? So, all right. Originally, one of the last questions was, what do you watch on TV? Now, you said you don't watch TV that much. So my new question is why?
Okay.
Why don't you watch TV?
Yes. Yeah. I get that all the time. People are like, wait, what? Or like people will say like, you know, the actor, I'm like, married to so-and-so. I'm like, you've lost me.
Yeah.
A couple things. One, my parents, when I was young, they were like, cable's too expensive. We're not. I was the only kid who didn't have cable. We had like VHS. We had SpongeBob on VHS that we had recorded at my grandparents' house.
So you just watch reruns of SpongeBob.
Literally the best day ever. You know that episode? Yep. I've seen that probably 40,000 times. But I mean, I'm honestly glad my parents could, because we had to do other things. So I guess I just wasn't raised, watching TV or whatever. Now I laugh because my parents watch TV and I don't. But so I just have never been in the habit. And then I can't sit still. So part of it's that is if I were to watch something, I have to like crochet or do something. Like I can't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just never really have. I've probably seen 3 TV shows through, like Dexter.
That's a good one.
Walking Dead.
That's a good one too.
Kid. What else? Breaking Bad.
I mean, you did just knock out like 3 of the best shows that have ever been made. Objectively speaking, those are 3 of the best shows that have ever been made. So
yeah.
At least you're watching good stuff.
Yeah, but like Friends obviously I've seen Friends, but like I've not seen that all the way through. Like Alta Big, something that everybody's seen, haven't seen it.
Spoiler alert, you're not missing much on Friends. Not a Friends fan. You're not missing much. So in your spare time then, so what do we do? Do we do music? Like what are we doing to fill the time?
Music, yep. Music, podcasts, I read a lot. People are always really...
What book are we reading right now?
Oh, Rick Rubin. It's called The Creative Act, I think.
Is that fiction?
No, and I only read nonfiction.
Okay.
I've never read a fiction book other than like what I had to do at school. Yeah. I never was a big reader until like I was an adult. But it's really poetic, and I like writing that it's a little bit ambiguous, and it's kind of like take it for what it means to you. Like he doesn't finish the thought, but it's all about like creativity, and obviously he is a very creative person, recording, or being what is that called, like a producer for like music.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah, producer. Yeah, producer.
Yeah. So it's all about like creativity, but it's really interesting the way he thinks about it and the way he talks about it.
So is it kind of like a self-help type of thing, or just kind of open your mind to new ideas?
Kind of just opens your mind to new ideas. He talks about, because it's not like, this is how I've created things, this is how I've done, this is what you can do. It's not at all like that. It's almost more like poetry. Like he talks about like in a poetic way, like how thoughts are formed.
Gotcha.
So it's really interesting, and I like writing like that. Like one of my favorite books is Matthew McConaughey's book, and he writes kind of the same way. He's got like poetry and things that he describes it and says it, and he's not completely clear about like how he's trying to drive it home. He's not like, so this means, he never finishes the thought for you. He just like says it, and then he cuts into the next thing.
I had a really good boss back in the day that did something similar to like that, where, in the same light, anytime you'd call him with a question, he would just ask you a bunch of questions and basically just like coach you through the question instead of just giving you the answer. It was the old Bible thing, give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach a man to fish.
Yep.
Feed him for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And he was very, very good at that, where you'd ask him a question, and instead of just giving you the answer, he, could have taken 2 minutes to give you the answer. Yeah. He'd take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was only 8 more minutes, but then he would walk you through basically you answered the question yourself at the end of the day. I was like, that is, and I never realized it in the moment, probably until after I left. I was like, you know what? Like I realize now what he was doing.
Yeah.
And it was really helpful. I attribute some of my success today to, being able to, instead of instinctively going to ask for help,
Asking those questions.
You ask yourself those questions instead, and sometimes you get the answer before you realize it.
Yeah. Well, real estate, that's important because everything's so layered.
Yes.
And there's never a correct answer.
There's no
right way
cookie
to do
cutter way of doing it. There's so many different ways.
Yeah.
So you said podcasts. What do we listen to podcast wise?
I listen to like sermons a lot. I just like to hear people talk.
Real Talk with my homies. Like and subscribe.
Favorite.
Like and subscribe. Spotify, YouTube.
I don't listen to much real estate stuff. I think because I live and breathe it. There is a real estate podcast I like. It's Hustle Humbly. They have interest.
Who's that?
I don't know their names. It's these two ladies. They work at different brokerages, and I think they're in like Baton Rouge, I believe.
Okay.
And they work at different brokerages, and they have similar ways that they do business. And I guess they're like friends in the business, and they host it together. But I don't know. They just have a really interesting take on everything, and they've been in the business for a long time too. So they get it, they understand it, and I don't know. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't listen to that like ever though, but I listen to a lot of sermons. I just like something that will make me think. So I like interviews where I can hear how like somebody else thinks.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, honestly, interviews are probably my favorite thing to listen to. So maybe I should be listening to your podcast.
Yeah, literally our style. Different guest on every time. We ask them a bunch of questions and talk to them.
Yep.
All right. So let's get into the actual real estate stuff.
Okay, let's do it.
Yep. What got you into real estate?
So why I really made the decision to like, okay, I'm going to do this is I worked in dentistry prior.
Okay.
And
What'd you do in dentistry?
so at the time I had like a spot in dental school and actually had full ride to dental school through the Air Force. And but at the time I was working as a surgical assistant in prosthodontics, obsessed with that area of dentistry.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool. So cool.
All right. So I clearly know what that is. So for anyone that's listening that doesn't, what is that area of dentistry?
So I always tell people the way to understand it is like prosthetics, like fake arm,
Yeah.
So that's that, but for teeth. So
Gotcha.
that is, if you need like one tooth replaced, you can go to a general dentist or whoever.
Yeah.
Prosthodontics, a lot of prosthodontists will choose to do their own. They can do the surgical end because traditionally, like an oral surgeon would have placed implants and then a prosthodontist would work on top of it. A lot of prosthodontics now, or prosthodontists, they do their own surgery and then they work on top of their work, placing the implants. So what we did a lot of was like full implants, removing all the teeth. And usually this is people like their teeth are destroyed. So drug addicts, car accidents, eating disorders, old age, it could be, anything, congenital disorders. And it's basically like for those people, that is like their permanent set of teeth that like they can have for the rest of their life, like no matter their age.
Dumb question. Then where does like veneers fall into that category? Is that in the same light or is that something completely different?
They can do veneers. Any dentist technically could do veneers. A lot of like cosmetic dentists, may specialize in that, but prosthodontists, they can also do veneers. So it just depends on the dentist and if they want to specialize in that or not. But we did do, veneers as well.
Gotcha. So this may be in the same light then, but if you weren't a realtor, what would you do? Could be something in that field, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now I'm glad that that's not where my life ended up. And I have an answer of why to that as well. But my funny answer when you had your question about like what would you do when you're a kid, and it kind of goes hand in hand with dentistry, and I realized this has just been a theme throughout my entire life, and I think I get this from my dad. But when I was a kid, I wanted to do nails. I would come home every single day and I would like take nail polish off and do my nails, and I love anything like fine motor, tiny. I love working with my hands. So when I wanted to do nails, but I guess, if I had to choose to do something else now, I would probably choose, I guess because it's in real estate, you kind of do this, you just have other responsibilities as well. I would love to do something like coaching or counseling.
Gotcha.
Because sometimes I'm so interested and focused on the person that I'm like, I could do without the house and the repair request.
Yeah. Just want to focus on the people.
Yes.
Well, that's good though. And that kind of maybe piggybacks into your opinion. What makes a good realtor is you put the people first.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think I ever answered your question about, what did you ask me? What was the question before?
If you didn't do real estate, what would you do?
Before that, we were talking, what got you, why?
Yeah. What got you into it?
Yes. Well, kind of a crazy situation with how I actually got here, but what sold me on it, why I chose to do it, was in dentistry. Every single day I walked away feeling like we helped somebody. And Cross, you know, it's huge. Like it changed their life because now they were not in pain. They, you know, a lot of people, if your teeth are destroyed, you're going to lack self-confidence. They could have confidence again. They could feel like a human again. So with real estate, I knew I needed something that was like people focused, and I needed something that, you know, that I would have that satisfaction at the end of the day. Like I helped somebody. I can't work in a cubicle and just do numbers and whatever. Like that would never.
Yeah, it took me all about 5 minutes working for the man to realize that I didn't want to work in a cubicle.
Yes. Yeah. What did you do before?
Before this, well, I worked in health and fitness. So managed health clubs, managed gyms for 8 years.
Yeah.
And then got in property management out at Norton Commons, did that for 4 years, and then got licensed while I was out there. And then in August of 22, decided to finally take the plunge.
Yes.
Put in my notice, and I was like, you know what? Let's figure out how to do this on our own. And
yes.
Yeah. So
yeah.
What did you do before? What'd you do before real estate?
Dentistry.
Okay.
And then before that, I mean, college.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Babysitting.
Odds and ends jobs.
I had a clothing business in college I always tell people, I didn't even know I was like entrepreneurial, but I had this clothing business. I would thrift flip, you know, I thrift everything, big thrifter. I would go to, have you ever heard of Goodwill Outlet?
No, I know Goodwill, but didn't know they had an outlet mall too.
Life-changing.
Yeah.
We got to do a homepage field trip there.
I might miss out on that one. Sorry.
Well, my mom's always like, she's like, you're going to get scabies.
I'll be there in spirit.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but my mom says, she's like, you're going to get scabies there one day. I'm like, gosh, I hope not. She's like, you need to be wearing gloves in there, because one time I was there.
It's like Google Outlet, like everything Google doesn't want, or like?
It's a couple things. So it's apparently it's like the last stop before a landfill.
Oh.
And people call it the bins. There's these big bins, and it's just full of just stuff. Like there's clothing bins, and then there's there's shoe bins, and then there's just, I call them junk bins. There's just stuff, like home stuff, like just random crap.
So your mom ain't far off from her concern about scabies.
Right? Well, no, one time there was a mouse in there. And this lady, it was so weird, because this lady had just told me, she's like, yeah, I've seen rats in here before. And I'm like, really? We're like going through I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah. And like, there's stuff that's wet. There's stuff that just reeks. Like as soon as you pick it up, you're like, oh God, it was that. Ugh. I mean, there's underwear in there.
No. All right, let's move on past the Goodwill. And the Goodwill underwear bins is, let's put that behind us.
I'll even take some underwear from there.
All right, your leads. Where are we getting your leads from? Are we buying leads? Guys, let's try and refocus here. All right. Are we buying leads? Is a referral based now? Because you're obviously younger than me. I wish I had the drive and the decision making that you did at your age, because I feel like everyone around your age is now kind of maybe starting to think about getting their first home. So you've got, the world is your oyster essentially when it comes to people. You know, like now I'm competing with the original realtor. I'm also competing with, you know, maybe a family member, and I'm sure you have that as well. But like you've got friendships that you can lean off of.
Yeah.
Where are you getting the leads from? Are you buying them? Did you ever buy them? Are they just, you know, referrals? You know.
Yes. Yeah. So now I don't buy any leads. I don't do any Zillow or anything. Anything I work is completely organic. So referrals from past clients. My best clients are honestly the people who find me on social media that I don't know from Adam.
Yeah.
Have been my best. The first client I ever got like that opened my eyes. I was like, oh, what? And I used social media at the time, but I didn't fully utilize it to the capacity. And I mean, if you scroll on my page, you could tell I hadn't been doing it that long. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I even had the like resume on there of like sold. Like I have some of that, but not. Mm-hmm. So that really opened my eyes to like, oh, there's a market there that's, you know, how can I gain that? And so that's a huge core piece of my business is. And so a lot of those people are out of state or local. And sometimes it's like friends of friends, people I would never know, but they know so-and-so follows me. And so they found me that way. And then social media, obviously, you know, nurtures my sphere. So then also I'm born and raised from here. So the people I know.
Yeah. You got circles kind of already established. So we had a super successful 2024. I think that is safe to say, right? Mm-hmm. What keeps you motivated? You know, I'm not saying you would do this, but I think there is definitely a crop of people that you have that initial success and you just kind of rest on your laurels. You're like, this is going to be easy for me moving forward. What keeps you motivated going into next year?
Yeah. Well, it's tough to not, because this is a tough business. But I think a couple things. I think being in the right place, like at Homepage, I'm excited to come see everybody every day.
Yeah.
Like I feel so at home here. So I think that's really given me like a consistency piece in my business that I didn't have before. I've never felt like that at a brokerage I've been at. Like obviously I've been friends with everybody, but that continues to motivate me because when I'm having a tough day or I have a tough transaction, I can always come get help or just have someone hear me out and be like, oh yeah, I've done that before. That is, that's harder,
Yeah.
So I think like my relationships in real estate, that keeps me motivated. I think even like, I always tell people this, like, because I never really had, like, I didn't go to dental school. So it's not like I call it my career before, but I never had like a full blown career with, prior to real estate, because I did this out of college. And I always tell people like, when I come home every day, that's my tangible, like, whoa, this business gave me that.
Yeah.
Because every dime that I, bought that house with, that I'm like, real estate gave me that. And so I think, like in this short amount of time for how long I've been doing real estate, obviously it's put me in a completely different position than I would have been in. And so I think continuing to be like, what, not just financially, but just like, what else can I create with this? That it's like, I mean, real estate gives you an incredible opportunity to like have an impact on people's lives, but also to like for your own, but like it can put you in a completely different position. And, there's no glass ceiling.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
I hit that twice in my career already. So yes, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
That there is no glass ceiling. I mean, it is as much work as you're willing to put in. Is as much money as you can make.
Yes. Yeah. And I think the last part to that is creating. Last year was busy. Like I worked so hard and that taught me a ton. I learned so much last year. Or this year, I guess.
Yeah.
And the year before too. But, but I think, why did I just squirrel brain? Oh my gosh. Wait, hold on. Let me get back to where I was going. What was I saying? Oh, okay. My motivation for, no, you're going to ask me that. Maybe I'll save this. I'll save that last part.
Yeah, no, that's the only thing we have left. We're on the motivation right now. The only thing we have left is 2025. What do we have? What's the goals? Any specific goals that you want to put on camera to hold yourself accountable for?
Right. So I don't fully have my goal figured out. I'm still thinking through that. I probably should. I mean, I'm like,
it's only a couple weeks. Only a couple.
Except what night? Is it 19th?
It's the 20th.
20th? Oh gosh, I better.
This will go out probably the end of January.
Okay.
So ballpark. This will go out then, but it's being recorded on the 20th of December.
Okay. So okay, I kind of have a couple things I'm thinking about.
Go for it.
One, this year was so busy and so constant, and I had to sacrifice obviously a lot of things to be able to do what I did. And so now I'm looking at for next year, like how can I create that whole life picture to where my life has a lot more peace and a lot more control, that it's because this year I didn't have that, because kind of like when you're asking, like, do you automate things? Do you have people that do things for you? Last year, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
So I think starting, like I got a transaction coordinator at the end of this year. So I think starting to build those things in where I can, and then I can focus on the parts that I like. Mary Gersel and I talk about that a lot. She's like, what's your favorite part of this business, or what do you feel like you're good at? Do those things. And so I'm starting to really uncover that, like, if there's something that's not worth my time or not worth me doing, or I don't enjoy, pay somebody else to do it and focus on the parts you like.
Yep.
So I think so focusing on the parts I like, focusing on the clientele I want to work. That's the other awesome part about this business. Creating that whole life picture where I can take days off. I want to travel somewhere next year.
Yeah.
And then as far as I feel like it's obligatory, obviously with goal setting, typically it's a volume or whatever. And I'm kind of torn about that because I look at this year and I'm like, dang, like I more than doubled what I even wanted to do. So to me, I'm like, I never need to do more than that. But I'm also like, I'm a competitive person and we're all like, I can do more. I did that. I could do it again.
That's me to a T. I'm about as competitive as it comes.
Yes.
I always want more.
Yes. I think in terms of just being competitive and wanting to beat myself just because it's a pretty number, I'm like, I would love to do 10.
It's not crazy.
Yeah.
I did it last year in 23. I'm going to come, and I want to do it again this year. I'm going to come just a little short.
Yeah.
But also, the average price per home for me skyrocketed. So in order to get to that 10 mil last year, I had to sell, I can't remember how many houses because it was a lower price point.
Yeah.
This year, 2024, I've sold fewer homes, but only slightly less in volume.
Yeah.
So I've done a lot less
That's nice.
transactions, which does kind of free up that time. And
Yes.
you know, my daughter stayed with me all summer. We didn't send her to like a daycare program or anything. Like, she just stayed with me all summer.
Oh.
And I think, you know, had we sent her to a daycare, then yeah, I probably would have hit 10 and probably would have surpassed it.
Yeah.
Because I just would have had the time. But instead, we went on like 3 or 4 trips this year. Like, I would spend 2-3 days at a time where, candidly, I didn't really do much.
Yeah.
I just spend time with her. We'd go do something, or we'd just be lazy around the house.
Yeah. That's
But wanted to make sure that she had a good childhood.
Yeah.
I want to make sure she had a good summer, have fun,
yeah.
you know, go out, swim. We have a pool, so we spend a bunch of time out at the pool.
Yeah.
But other than that, anything you want to, we got to wrap it up. We hit the mark. So anything you want to drop before we sign out?
Can I ask you a question? Can I
Go
ask
for
what
it.
your goal is?
My goal for next year,
Yeah.
10 mil or 50 transactions,
Okay.
whichever one.
50. Whoo.
Yep, 50.
Whoo.
4 a month, and then sprinkle in 1 or 2.
Uh-huh.
If
you do 50 transactions, you're going to do much more than 10 million, I would presume.
Yeah, I look at it as there's a world where, like, you know, 10 houses, 10 starter homes pop in there, and that'll tank the average for home, which, you know, I'm not opposed to that. I don't care the price point. I really genuinely don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, 50 families, 50 individuals, however you want to divvy it up, or 10 mil is the goal.
Yeah.
I don't like setting goals. I've never really been a big goal person because I've always
get shy about
my goal's always just been more. Like, I just want more.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, other than that, we're gonna sign out. But before we sign out,
yes,
Mr. Jeff Ivory, our producer, came up with a great idea for the podcast, and we're gonna start it with you.
Oh, okay.
So you do not know who the next guest is.
Okay.
Candidly, I don't know who the next guest is. But you get to ask them a question.
Oh, I like that.
So you're starting it. You are batting leadoff in this. So I don't have a question from a previous guest to ask you because we're starting with you. So
okay,
it can be anything.
Anything
you want.
Okay.
They may be a realtor. They may not. They may be an entrepreneur. They may be my mom.
Okay.
Never know.
Okay. That, gosh, really put me on the spot here.
I am, because you didn't know this was coming.
I guess, okay, what would you change about your life right now?
Okay, perfect. Let me write this down. It's great for TV.
That's what they tell me. Just kidding.
All right. Perfect. Well, other than that, Ashley, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Anything else you want to plug?
I don't think so. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
So let's get it in 2025.
Yep.
Woo.
By now, we'll know, or at least we will know. I'd like to be the first to congratulate the Detroit Lions on winning the Super Bowl. My Detroit Lions winning it all. They beat the Baltimore Ravens. We did this last year. Looked like an idiot. So we're doing it again. The Lions are going to beat the Ravens in the Super Bowl. House divided between me and Jeff. Other than that, thank you, Ashley.
Thanks.
I appreciate you.